you to be empowered to make an impact. That was your host, Noura Masri. Until next time, keep making an impact.
This has been a NowMedia Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Welcome to another episode of Balancing Acts. I'm your host, Linda Hamilton. This show is dedicated to business owners who work hard every day, constantly balancing competing priorities for their time and money while navigating the intricate dance of growing a successful, profitable business and keeping a healthy cash flow, all while trying to keep a sane personal life. Balancing Acts is going to bring to you expert advice, practical and actionable tips, plus inspirational stories from business owners. Being aware of the challenges and the issues, even opportunities we talk about on this show, will help you avoid the common mistakes we see small businesses make. And it'll help you improve your growth and profitability. So take notes and visit your favorite guests for resources on how to help you run your small business smarter, not harder, and focus on money-making activities. While we want to focus on these activities, what strategies are we going to use to grow? Today, we're going to talk to Dr. Sandy Webster, a serial entrepreneur who grew her startup to a multi-million-dollar business with over 100 employees. We'll talk to Sandy about her entrepreneurial journey from startup to multi-million-dollar business, her unique approach to the process she used of selling a business, and then we'll talk about advisory boards as a growth strategy, and how to use vision boards as a guide on your journey. Dr. Sandy Webster is a highly accomplished entrepreneur, an educator, and author. With a background in marketing and analytics, she now focuses on empowering women in business through online education and advisory services. She's known for her expertise in forming advisory boards and raising awareness about unconscious bias in corporations. Welcome, Sandy. We're so glad you could be with us today.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for having me.
And I want to start talking about foundations, your entrepreneurial journey, and leading up to the sale. So can you tell us about the early days of your first startup and what inspired you to start that business?
I started the business, Linda, because like a lot of entrepreneurs, I was laid off from corporate America. And this was right after 9/11. So the market was really ripe for having me start a business. I didn't really know what else to do at that point, and forming my own business was always in the back of my head, right? So while we were in the corporate world, and we meaning my business partner, Peggy, and I worked together in corporate, and we identified this need that they had for particularly female marketers who would leave the company after they had their second child. At that point, there was no working from home or part-time. So these really well-educated women would leave the workforce and do nothing, just take, well, not nothing, but take care of their kids. And we thought about, why don't we hire them as consultants as we need them on projects and put them back in the same company where they came from, because you didn't have to train them. They already came with the expertise, they knew their company, and they could hit the ground running right away. So that's how we started our company.
Great. And that, I think, is a lot of industries would find that there are very accountants, lawyers, et cetera, who leave the workforce to have children and want to come back. So how great that you were able to leverage that mindset for women. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in the initial stages, and how did you overcome them?
One of the biggest challenges that I think we had when we started is that we were women. We were working in the corporate world, and we found that we didn't get a contract. We got a contract, but we didn't become direct vendors right away. We had to work through another company, get paid through another company. We were just not direct, and we kept wondering why. When we saw all the men that we knew who started companies after us would just get a direct contract with the company. And we didn't understand that, but it's partially that we were women and they thought of us the same way as they did their female employees, like they're going to get pregnant and go have kids sooner or later. And the men were just killing it. And we decided, that's the first time we decided to have an advisory board. We said, we need some advice from some men on how to do this. And I tell you, lo and behold, one of the men on our board actually helped us become a direct vendor for the first time. I think that was an aha moment for us, that we really did need men in our lives and in our businesses to help us. The second hurdle we had, our board also helped with that, and that was coming off of billing. It was Peggy and myself. We were on billing for about 2 years. We were making good money, but we were not running the business. We were the business. It's the old adage of working on your business versus in your business. So we would do the bookkeeping at nights, like at midnight. We didn't have any additional employees. It was just the Sandy and Peggy show. And we were killing ourselves, basically. And our board kept trying to get us, you guys got to get off billing if you want to grow. We're like, we're making enough money and we just don't have the time to scale. But we took their advice eventually. We were just so tired, truthfully. And it did help. We started growing the business because we could bring in other consultants into the business. We eventually even hired our CFO to help us run the company, and he was on our board at the time. So yes, those were big challenges. I would say the two biggest ones that we had.
And I think you make a good point, but I also want to clarify for our audience, who's a mixed audience. It's not only women listening to our show, but men who are also running startups and trying to scale. It's important to have diversity of thought, having different perspectives from customers, whether they're male or female, around you, keeps you from being in a silo or an echo chamber of your own thoughts and have ideas. So it's great that you actually recognized that you wanted that in an advisory board. So how did you and Peggy manage to scale your startup to a multi-million-dollar company?
Well, you have to hire people. You just can't. And I know you hear it all the time. You just can't do it by yourself. If it's a one-man show, like I had a business, which was good. Some people don't. If you're a solopreneur, you have to bring other people on board because you just can't do it all. You need sales. You need marketing. Whether they're employees or 1099, you just have to have that help. And I found that the very minute we started hiring other consultants, you're spread too thin by yourself. We could put them in other corporations. We could go out and get other accounts. And it just made such a vast difference bringing people on board. Plus, you're not in it by yourself anymore. Yeah. Right?
Right,
so
exactly.
I think that was a critical thing for us.
And so what strategies did you use to attract and retain that top talent in your company, those consultants that you were hiring?
I asked my friends. That's the best place to start, is to ask people you know in the industry, who are the good consultants, because good consultants know other good consultants. Good employees know other good employees, and they also know the slackers as well, which is equally right? So you start there, you ask, and don't be afraid to ask. Then we hired. We wrote up job descriptions that we needed. We went to different companies because different companies have different ways and different talent. So we went to different companies to find the right people. And then the hiring, we had to have a really strong interview process to select the right people. Because if you get 20 resumes and you only need one person, you have to figure out what is the differentiator really among those people. So we put all those processes in place, and it helped us to create good hires.
And the word process, I know I have known you a long time. I know you're very process oriented. This show episode is not about actually selling, but I do want to talk briefly about the process you used. I know that you built your business knowing you would eventually sell it. Can you walk us through that process of selling? What were the key factors that led you to maybe to sell, and when to sell?
Well, as you said, I'm pretty good with process. So Peggy and I actually decided in our operating agreement to build this business to sell. We knew we were leaving corporate, and it was our pension plan, so to speak. And we wanted to put all the things in place. So we identified how long would it take us to get to where we are? At what level would we consider starting to sell the business? And then when our board came in, they, helped us put systems in place. So you can't grow a business unless you have the payrolling system, the HR system to hold your contracts. Because when you sell, and that's another thing we need to know, what was the end point? What were they going to need from us at the time of sale? So we could start putting that together ahead of time, understanding our EBITDA, because in our marketing company, that was the critical piece of thing that they would be looking at. What is the analytics that they're looking at for your business? And EBITDA was a driving force. So we made sure we kept on top of that, how to grow that. And those were the two things, putting the systems in place and making sure we manage the system and check it all the time, right? You can't just put it there. You have to adjust and check and adjust to keep it going.
Thank you. And when we come back from commercial break, we're going to talk to you about being in startup phase again. But I do want to say that I learned enough from this segment to understand that, and I hope our audience did, that you need to be proactive when you're thinking about growth and ultimately selling. Where are you going with your business? Because you cannot change it overnight. It takes time and it takes processes. So we'll talk to you in a few minutes after our commercial break.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now, you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Hi, my name is Michelle Merhar. You may remember me from the morning news. I'd like to tell you how getting data and documents into action fast gives you a competitive edge. Digital-first thinking to manage document workflows efficiently are giving all organizations a competitive edge. In fact, digital document automation is an essential process, helping us to become more profitable and to compete. By making any process paperless with secure automation, decisions can be made efficiently, virtually from anywhere. You'll be able to find and share documents securely in seconds. Your staff will be empowered by making optimal use of every office hour. And by the way, the size of your organization doesn't matter. Precision Products has been helping organizations for more than 30 years with paper to digital processes, including scanning systems for any document to premises and cloud document management systems. We make it easy and scalable for your business process needs from the office or other locations, even mobile devices. Contact us to see how we can help your organization succeed. Contact Will Waterall direct at 713-446-5939 and visit us on the web at precisionproductsinc.com.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back to Balancing Act, where we're talking with Dr. Sandy Webster. We just finished talking about how she grew her startup to a multi-million-dollar company, but she is back in startup phase again. And so we want to get some of her insights on that. Sandy, what motivated you to start a new venture after selling your first company?
Linda, I realized that I gained a lot of knowledge, both around advisory boards as well as starting and scaling and selling my business. And I wanted to share that knowledge with other business owners. All the different phases that we go through, I'd gone through that. So now I coach business owners on how to grow and sell their businesses privately. And I also chair a chapter, 2 chapters now, of the Women's Presidents Organization. And those are women with businesses starting at $1 million, and I help them grow their businesses to astronomical numbers.
And you and I met when we were both years ago when we were in the WPO. We met as a chapter, but we both have a passion for helping smaller businesses grow as well, because they don't always have the same resources that we had to us, or education that we had. And I think it's great that you want to share that knowledge with business owners on their journey. Has your approach changed the second time around in terms of growth?
It's changed drastically. Well, now I don't have a business partner. That's a big change. So everything is on me. I don't have a large team. I just have a personal assistant. And it's much more difficult as a solopreneur, I have to say. My motivation is different because now I can take my time to grow this business or to change the business as I like. I don't, or I didn't have those options previously. And so that is a big difference in how I approach doing business now.
Yeah, and I think that's probably common for solopreneurs, of which make up a large percentage of small businesses in the United States. So can you share some insights into the way your coaching and consulting practices? What makes your approach unique?
My approach is unique. Well, first, my company, my brand is Sandy Webster Coach Salting. And I came up with that because as I was taking different coaching classes, I understood that they didn't really help. They were there to give advice, and they didn't really help the business owner get the job done. And I wanted to do that. That was my frustration. So I thought I would solve for that by not just having a coaching business, but if they wanted to have the consulting portion of me, they could do that as well. And that's made a big difference in getting things done faster for my clients. And I have to say, my practice is a little different than the regular coaching, but it works. It works for me.
Yeah, and coaching is kind of about performance, right? Of coaching someone through it, and then they have to actually do that themselves. With consulting, we're providing more guidance and help with strategy, so that it's a deeper connection, I think, when you're working with someone. And small businesses probably go in and out of needing different areas of either coaching or consulting. What are the common challenges you see among your clients, and how do you help them overcome these challenges?
The biggest challenge I see with entrepreneurs, most of them are very lonely, especially if they're an individual and not a team like Peggy and I were. They don't have anyone to talk to. They can't discuss things with their employees. And I help them use the same thing that helped me, which was to form an advisory board. Like, get outside experts that you can call on, that's in it with you. It's a sounding board for the entrepreneur. And that way, it was really helpful to them. So I help them form their boards.
And we're going to talk about advisory boards and what that means in later this morning. How do you balance your time and energy between your business, your family, and your personal life, especially now that you're in startup mode?
Well, there's no such thing as balance, Linda. I think that's the wrong word. I like to use integration because it's more cohesive, and it's truer that there's never going to be, an equal balance as in a scale. So you make trade-offs as you go along. I like to, you know me again with my process, I put everything on my calendar and I write everything out so that I know if I have a personal thing, how does it impact my business? And that helps a lot too. And I have my husband and my family on my calendar. They get my calendar so we can easily balance out. Not balance, integrate.
And I would say that, right before we take a commercial break, what tips would you have for a startup on, balance may not be the right word, but you are balancing. Sometimes the scale's high, sometimes it's low. And I often call it work-life fulfillment as well, because you need to be happy. But what would be one thing if you had to help a business owner struggling with competing priorities for their time and their money, where they would do that?
They need to talk about it. That's the best thing. I find business owners just internalize a lot of things. They don't get it out. Once you start asking people for help and talking about specifically what kind of help you need, you'd be really shocked how many people will help you for free sometimes. And they just don't know that.
Thank you. And we're going to talk to Sandy again after our commercial break. But I would say one of the key takeaways in terms of process and planning your startup is to use a tool, whatever works for you. I use a one-page business plan as a focus tool. You can use that one-page business plan to help you talk about your issues and challenges, as Sandy just suggested. So that too will help you get from startup to maybe a smoother process of growth and being able to focus on money-making activities that bring you profit as well. We're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to come back and talk to Sandy about what it means to create an advisory board.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company that time you're spent with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Welcome back to Balancing Acts. We're talking with Dr. Sandy Webster about growing your business, scaling, and using an advisory board as a growth strategy. That's what we're going to talk about now. Sandy, what is the role of an advisory board in a company's growth?
Linda, an advisory board is there to give you expert advice. An advisory board is different than a board of directors. They don't have fiduciary responsibility. So they're just there to give you advice. They don't call the shots. You still call the shots. And I think a lot of business owners are afraid to do that because I don't want people coming into my business telling me what to do. It's up to you as a business owner to decide which advice to take. But you have people with massive skill sets sitting in a room with you, giving you this feedback, and you don't have to pay for it most of the time. So why wouldn't you take their advice? They can open doors for you that you can't open. They can pick up the phone and make phone calls and create contacts to become aware of you, or they can stop you from going down a path that you shouldn't. So I really think an advisory board is there to really help you.
Yeah. And, oftentimes accountants and lawyers will serve as an advisory board for their customers, but that's not always true of professional services. How do you go about selecting members for the advisory board? Are they always professional services, or what other types of candidates might work well for you?
I find the candidates that work best for me is when I identify what I need. So if I need a marketing person and I feel I'm lacking in that skill set, or my team doesn't have that, that's who I bring on board. I might need a legal person. The first person I got was a salesperson because I realized Peggy and I didn't come from a sales background. We did marketing, which drives sales, but we didn't know how to sit down and present and do all the overcoming objections and all of that kind of stuff. So the first person we got was a salesperson. And from there, after we started perfecting and having that salesperson train our people, that's another thing on having a board, you get free training sometimes. We pay them or they do it for free. But we became really good at sales from the person who was on our board. And then we decided, what's the other person we need? We needed some legal advice, or we needed someone to open doors for us to get into companies. So by sitting down and deciding and writing out specifically what you want from that person, you know who to ask or what type of person to ask. We like retirees. The minute they leave a corporate job or any job, it's easier to get them because now they have nothing to do. And secondly, they have a lot of years of advice and expertise that they can freely give to us. But you just have to ask.
So do you always have to pay an advisory board?
No, you don't have to pay an advisory board. As a matter of fact, my advisory board was free. Everyone that I had was a volunteer, and very top tier people from corporations. Like I said, I focused on getting people who just retired for a number of reasons. If I was doing business with that company, you don't want to have a conflict of interest. And so I just waited until they left. It really cleans it up. You can, you'll have to have confidentialities and agreements in place. You have to have all this stuff when they're actually in the company, and you avoid that when they leave.
And you do have a process for creating advisory boards if someone is interested, because you had tremendous experience. It is one of the ways you actually grew your startup and was able to sell it for multi-million dollars.
Yes.
Can you share a success story where an advisory board significantly impacted a company's growth or your company's growth?
Well, I could use my company. When I started off and didn't have an advisory board, we didn't have anyone to turn to ask. It was Sandy and Peggy. And if she didn't know it and I didn't know it, we just didn't know where to go get it. Once we formed the board, if we had a need, a board member could suggest someone to us, either to bring them on the board or bring them in as a speaker to talk to us. So that was really helpful. If someone wants to start a board, my advisory board, real success stories, is my own business. My CFO was on my advisory board, and we hired him off of the board so that he could help us put strategic plans in place, because we knew he was so good while he was on the board. Why wouldn't we hire him instead of going to get someone else? And he was able to help us grow the company, really brought our EBITDA line item up. He told us to cut expenses, like all the things that he did. I say he was really instrumental in the sale of our company. He told us what processes to put in place and when. And as we went through the process of building the company, he was right in step with us. And I think selling my company is its own success story for my board.
And for those of you listening, EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. But essentially, we're talking about your profit before you start into your, income taxes and things like that, your operations. But it can sound more difficult, but from the perspective we're talking about prior to going to sales, understanding where your profit comes from. So what advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are looking to establish their very first advisory board?
Start with one person. Usually you have a mentor or a sponsor or someone that you talk to all the time. Start with them. Even if it's a one-on-one meeting, set up regular scheduled meetings with them, but start with that person. Then you can bring in a second person. I think people feel they have to have 10 people on their board all at the same time. What is the building process? Sit down and identify who's the next person I need on my board, and then go after them. Sometimes it'll be a long process to get that person, or you have to abandon and say, let me start with another person. But you're really forming a team. Just like you would build your employees and hire your employees, you need to interview them. And sometimes they're not going to be the right fit. So you need to understand that and just move on to the next person who fits that criteria. Create a profile of the person that you need for your board, and then go after it.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think, even though you want different perspectives on your board, it also has to be a cohesive board. They have to be able to work together and work with you in terms of communication. So how can businesses maximize the value and effectiveness of their advisory board?
It's a little bit what we just talked about. They have to put their own processes in place with their board, just like they would with their team. They have to have regularly scheduled meetings with their board. I like quarterly, because it gives you time to fulfill the things that your board is asking you to do, and it gives you time to report back to them on the things that they want to do. So quarterly works best. In the beginning, you might want to meet a little bit more just to get the feel of them. but you also don't want to overwhelm them. They're volunteers usually. If you're paying for them, then, you can utilize them a little differently. But for you don't want them to say, this is too much. I want to get off your board. So it's a balancing act with that as well.
Yeah. And I think when we come back from our commercial break, we're going to talk about vision boards. But what I think the takeaway for me from this segment about advisory boards is looking at where your gaps are. What are your weaknesses? What kind of skill do you need? I think Sandy's mention of sales, when so many small business owners are actually not salesperson, that might be a weakness for many of us. And that that was very insightful, and I hadn't thought of that myself. So I think you want a cohesive board, and don't be afraid to get advice. It's a different way of getting advice, and they can really help you with growth. So we're going to take our commercial break now, and we'll see you in a few minutes, Dr. Sandy.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Hi, I am Noura Al-Masri, and welcome to Echoes of Impact with Noura. Join me on a journey where we celebrate the power of women in business, the driving force behind growing nonprofits, and the architects of change in our community. We'll explore strategies for building successful businesses, increasing cash flow, and saving on taxes. Tune in to Echoes of Impact with Noura, because when women succeed, we all thrive. See you there.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Welcome back to Balancing Acts, where we're talking with Dr. Sandy Webster about growing your small business and what strategies you can use for growth. So, Sandy, let's talk about creating vision boards. What exactly is a vision board, and how can it benefit business owners and entrepreneurs?
That's a good question. I like to think of a vision board as your life board. It's the thing that helps you immediately see what you want to do and balances both your business with your personal life. So decisions you make in business really impacts your personal life. We all know that. So when you have it all laid out on a board, it's just more, it's easier to help your family and to help your business to set the goals that don't conflict with each other in the business. It's really just a visual that you can see at a glance.
And I think of vision as, what does your future look like, and how critical it is to include both business and personal, because you can't really separate the two. You can separate certain segments of your day and time, but the goals and mission have to be aligned. Do you think the vision board should encompass both personal and vision, as I was just kind of alluding to, and why or why not?
I do believe it should take care of both, because as we spoke about before, when you do something in your business, it can impact your personal life. Let's say vacations, very easy thing. You have to decide, when is it that I can leave my business to take a 1 week or 2 week vacation? God forbid you take 2 weeks when you have a business. But you have to align that. When you have your vision board and you start off at the beginning of the year, you could identify with your family, what time are we taking it? Is it, if you have kids, do the kids need to be out of school? And you can pinpoint that. I use the SMART method, and I can talk about that separately, but basically identifying the very specific goals that we need to have. And when you put that on your board, I also use a timeline so that I know when and where and what time. And just the example of a vacation is such a big deal. Sometimes we don't take vacations as business owners, but if you put that on there, you'll run into a lot less conflict with your family, and really helps you as a person and as a business owner.
And how do you help your clients create effective vision boards, aligning with goals, or, maybe talk a little bit about SMART goals?
Yes. So you talked about also the one-page business plan. I like for my business owners to bring that business plan, and it's very concise if you have it on one page, because you can literally take the goals from your business plan and just put them on your vision board, because you need that. You want to make sure that you're hitting the timeframes. And where the SMART goal comes in is, I don't know if everyone knows what SMART goals are, but the S means specific. It's an acronym. So you have to be very specific about the goal that you want to have The M is measurable. So you can measure the goal. How long? What time frame is it going in? Is this working? You need for that to be measurable. And it has to be achievable, which is the A. So is it realistic? You know, we all make goals like I want to go to the North Pole, but it's not really realistic when you look at it on your calendar. And set a time frame. It has to be achievable, so set a time frame for that. And it pushes you also when you have that time frame to say, okay, it's March, and I said I was going to do this in February, and it's March. So are you accomplishing your goals? And then is it relevant to what you're doing? We make this really highfalutin kind of goals all the time, and it's really not relevant to either a personal or our business. And so you can assess that, whether it's personal. And then the T is for time bound. In what time frame are you going to get this done? And I put that right on the board so that you can see it. If I say let's say I want to lose weight, right? Very easy example. I want to lose 10 pounds. That's very specific by December 31st of this year. That's a very definite date. Now I know all the things that I can do. I can measure whether I lose my 10 pounds or not. And I know I can follow my progress up to the very date. And on December 31st, I will know whether or not I lost 10 pounds or 12 pounds or less. So I like to use that in my vision boards.
And some people get sometimes intimidated by setting big goals and looking at that. But how about a success story where a vision board significantly maybe impacted someone's business or personal life?
The most recent success story I had was phenomenal. There was someone who was doing a vision board for the first time. You know, before I did vision boards, I thought it's so frou-frou. Who wants to do this? You know me. Who wants to do this kind of wussy thing? And she had the same idea. And she came on and said, oh, I never do this stuff, never works. I never look at it. And we just walked her through the process and using the SMART methodology, making sure she puts all the times, all the dates on the board, and she created it in a timeline. And she had some major accomplishments that she needed to make. So she needed to have a couple of surgeries, and she was putting it off and putting it off. And she put it on her vision board that she would have these 2 major surgeries within the year. And she put the time frame of when to get them done. And at the end of the year, she did her 2 surgeries, went into recovery, went through the whole thing. She was really shocked. She also had some family things that she wanted to do. And it was able that her surgery helped to bring the family together. So she accomplished the family goals that she had. And with all of that, she was still able to take a vacation and do a cruise that she wanted to do. So at the end of the year, not only was she healthier because she did all these things, but she bonded with her family and they all went on vacation together. So for her, that was a big win. And she says, I'll do a vision board every single year from now on. And she's been in my class ever since.
And that's a great success story. So what are some common elements that we want to include on a vision board to be effective, especially, when we're creating our first one?
People are very different when it comes to the vision board. Some like to see graphics, like the graphics resonate with them. So they'll find something representative of the strategic plan or the goal that they're trying to do. Some people like words. I've seen vision board with just words that are helping you to be better. And some people like a combination. I like a combination of both. And I always have to have some little flowers or something, nice. I decorate my board with rhinestones because there's something I look at every single day. I walk by my board. It's sitting in my kitchen. Everyone sees my board. I put it in my living room. So you want it to look nice, and you want it to be something that you wake up and go, what am I doing today towards that specific goal? So that's what I like to do with my vision boards.
I personally like Post-it notes so I can move them around on my poster board. Sandy, how can our guests find you if they want to learn more about your advisory boards and other things?
The best place is on my website, sandy@sandywebster.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. It's Sandy with an I. I think I have to say that for people. Sandy with an I, Sandy Webster. I have my brand, Sandy Webster Consulting. And you can always email me at sandy@sandywebster.com. I'm very accessible by email.
Thank you so much for sharing your advice and wisdom with us and experiences today. My takeaways and what I would recommend to our audience is to think about advisory boards and vision boards as a growth strategy. It's a way to step back from your business and get the help you need. Your vision board can be shown to your advisory board. They're really excellent tools, and you can learn more about them on Sandy's website. I hope you will join us again next week for another exciting episode of Balancing Acts.
This has been a NowMedia Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you